Hello and welcome to our second and last lesson for Module 12. We're going to solve by factoring. We're going to be using something that you've learned before, factoring, and then applying something called the zero product property to find the zeros of a quadratic equation. So what is the zero product property? It's for any two numbers, A and B. If I multiply two numbers and it equals zero, then either A equals zero or B equals zero. That should make sense if you think about it. If I know that I'm multiplying two numbers and one of them is zero, the answer is going to be zero. 0 times 100, 0. X times 0, 0. 0 times any quantity, so x plus 2, still 0. What if I have two binomials multiplied together that equals 0? Well, if I'm multiplying two things together, one or both of them have to be 0. So what we do here is we'd say x plus 3 equals 0, and say x, and then solve that and get x equals -3, or x plus 7 or x minus 7 equals 0, and x equals positive 7. So let me show you what that just said. Either x plus 3 equals 0 or x minus 7 equals 0. And if I solve both of those, I get x equals -3 or x equals 7. And we can check that. If I put -3 in for x, -3 plus 3 is 0. And -3 minus 7 is -10. 0 times -10 is 0. It worked. How about what if I put 7 in? 7 plus 3 is 10. 7 minus 7 is 0. 10 times 0 is 0. 0 equals 0. It worked. Now, one of the big things I want you taking from this lesson, every equation we are working with today must be equal to 0 before you get started. Okay? Well, you'll see it happen here. Okay, so we got this first equation. X squared plus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Not a perfect square trinomial. I could get that like we did in the last lesson, but I don't need to. Okay, but before I do anything, is this equal to 0? Yes, it is. So we can move forward. Let's factor. I want two numbers that multiply to 8 and add to 6. Hopefully you get that pretty quickly. That's 4 and 2. So that factors to x plus 4 times x plus 2. Notice that that's equal to 0. Well, those two things are being multiplied together, x plus 4 times x plus 2. So that means either x plus 4 has to equal 0 or x plus 2 has to equal 0. And I can solve both of those and get my two solutions. X equals -4 or x equals -2. Those are my two solutions. And we also have a different name for that. They're called zeros. Okay. And I said that in the instructions. Zeros and solutions are the same thing. Use your calculator to check this. Take -4 and plug it in for x. Does it give you 0? It does. 16 minus 24 is -8. -8 plus 8 is 0. How about -2? That's -2 squared is 4. 6 times -2 is -12. 4 minus 12 is -8. -8 plus 8, 0. It's a nice thing about this. You can plug them back in to see if you get the right answer. How about this one? Well, hopefully you see right away it's not equal to 0. You're going to do something that feels a little bit weird here. I'm going to add 9 to both sides, but I'm actually going to bring 9 to the left-hand side so that it's equal to 0. And now we want to factor. Now the a value is 2. So I need to break it up into 2x and x, and then I have to guess and check here. I'm going to guess 3 and 3. That multiplies, give me 9. And let's just see. 2x times 3 is 6x. 3 times x is 3x. 6x plus 3x is 9x, and that works. So there's my factored version of that trinomial. Okay, we're going to use the zero product property to find the zeros. So 2x plus 3 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3. I get 2x equals -3. Divide by 2. I get x equals -3 over 2. On the other one, a little easier, just subtract 3. You get x equals -3. And those are my two zeros or solutions. Okay. If you want to check it, you can plug those numbers in for x to see if you get 0. Last one's another weird one. Again, it's not equal to 0. I'm going to add 24x to both sides. So 4x squared plus 24x equals 0. Now, there's no constant term. There's no c value here. But if I look at just the left-hand side, I see that I have a GCF of 4x. If I divide 4x out, or take the GCF out, 4x squared divided by 4x is x. 24x divided by 4x is 6. Now I have 4x times x plus 6 equals 0. Well, 4x equals 0 or x plus 6 equals 0. Yes, 4x is just something. It's something being multiplied times x plus 6. That something has to equal 0. Divide by 4. I get x equals 0. Subtract 6. I get x equals negative 6. And those are my two solutions here. Okay, we can check it. Put 0 in for x into the original equation. 0 squared is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. Negative 24 times 0 is 0. So yes, that one worked out. Let's put negative 6 in. Negative 6 squared is 36, positive. 36 times 4 is 144. Negative 24 times negative 6 is 144 as well. So yes, it does check out. Okay, so that was factoring to solve. If you can do this one, this was a great one to use because it is a little bit faster. So that concludes our lessons for week 12.